Mic check. We got that going. We got that. I didn't even need the restart. I could have just switched browsers back and forth. I didn't know it until afterwards when it was blank again. Thanks for those extra few minutes, everyone. Thanks for being here today. I'm showing up. That's the most important thing. I'm glad you're showing up and putting the work in as well. Wherever you are right now, Moet, I have one thing to tell you though, brother. Tomorrow's our Friday, so we're going to be here again and we're going to do it all again. And hopefully by tomorrow, we're still above 42K. That's what I'm hoping. We'll see what happens over here as we get going. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, CTM strong. So glad that you're here with us. We got, let's say, maybe short and sweet and powerful. That's all we could say. You're probably not going to, you might not like my whole demeanor this morning. I've never really said that before, right? But yes, it's nice that we are bouncing off the lows today and that guess what? We had trouble again closing under 41,500. A close below there, that might be pretty worrisome of some further downside, but it is not today. Yesterday, barely closing above that level. Now, is it 41,500? That's just pretty arbitrary. But I'm just pointing out that we haven't been able to close below that level. And if we were, that would be a sign of sellers actually gaining control and then buyers not able to no longer hold a certain level. That would be a little bit worrisome. Today, we don't have to worry. Today's a day of a reprieve. We are actually on the verge of breaking out from the, what was it, April the 6th? What is this? No, I'm April. What am I talking about? November. This is November 10th. I don't know why I had November 6th in my head. That's weird. All right, November the 10th is when all of a sudden, since the highest price point ever on Bitcoin, and since then we have been in correction. We tried to break out once already, right? We tried to break out over here. I think it was like the 27th, 23rd of December. Time frame's a little off, Jordan. And then that didn't hold, and here we are now getting ready for potentially a breakout where the buyers have the opportunity to gain control. We are kissing it this morning. We are close. We are not there yet. We are into resistance right now. And again, just to remind everyone, just to remind everyone that I would not be taking a conservative entry over here. I have a black diamond entry, basically where we're at right now. So I would not be taking on that additional risk. I would not be taking a trade and setting this to break even at the break, So just to reiterate, and the other thing is just, yes, it's beautiful to see Bitcoin bounce a little bit here, but there's nothing to get excited about. You want to keep those emotions level. You want to keep those. Now, listen, if Bitcoin, put in a $10,000 candle today, we would be jumping on the chairs, jumping on the desk, and that would be like, we'll take our wins and we'll celebrate, right? But we're going to be waiting until Bitcoin is roaring in the bliss once again, making new all-time highs. And those are the days that we are going to make sure that here together we enjoy. I think right now I just want to manage expectations. We're not out of the woods or even close to being out of the woods, even on a breakout of here. That would just be the first sign that the buyers have the opportunity to take back control. We all know that we have resistance coming up right around 45,500, 6,000 in that area. That's where I would be moving my stop loss to break even. That we got lots of repairs to do. We just have lots of repairs to do before this thing turns around. Right now, structurally, continues to look in the near term very bearish. All right. So, like I said, you guys are probably not going to like how I'm coming into this session today, but that's the most important. It's just to manage those expectations. The same way as Bitcoin is coming off, you want to remain level and manage, your emotions on the downside. Same thing here today. That's very important. All right. So just zooming in a little bit, and you could see that, first, again, Bitcoin is now just oversold in a downtrend. We're into that resistance, right? And, I'm not trying to, everything is good that happened today. Everything that's great. By the way, did you see that Facebook and Instagram, you can now create NFTs and sell them? Where are the institutions, well, I don't know. Facebook's a rather large public company with a massive user base, and they're jumping into the space, and people start playing and exploring with different things like NFTs, and then they're like, wait a second, what's all this digital money? That's a Facebook. People on Facebook are like, they're like my generation and older, So those people being exposed to that type of digital aspects, that's a big deal, And then they're going to be like, wait a second. So, and what's this Bitcoin thing, right? And it's massive for the space overall. Coinbase is also doing them thing with Google. Did you see that Coinbase, Salamando partnered with Google yesterday? And with MasterCard as well. I mean, they're moving, and they're moving faster than I kind of expected. But they are moving and moving and moving. I have my BlockFi Visa card. MasterCard now getting and jumping on board, and that's a big deal. George, what's going on? That's all. We got to make sure that we stay on the right side, and that means when no FOMO, and that means when we are still very bearish technically, that we keep and maintain what we need to do, and then just do it strategically. So that's a nice sign over here, but this means that Bitcoin is now becoming overbought in a downtrend. We have a big technical break. We're into that resistance. We got to get above that resistance. That will be one step. That will be the first big repair we're looking at, right? For small repair is, oh, what happened to my chart? Boom, let me fix it. What? I guess I could just redraw it. That's weird. Seems to be one of those days. We had the black diamond repair. That was the first potential sign of a reversal, right? Well, I had double black diamond, but that was stopped out at break even. Now the black diamond repair, this would be the next repair. Again, a positive development and sign. If you're looking at this chart, if you invert it and you're like, wow, that is very bullish, right? Well, that's very bearish, but a breakdown of that trend line, that would be the reversal. So that's what we're, it's got to work both ways, and it does work both ways. Just to jump over here, we are still looking at the yellow. The uncertainty area looks a lot more certain than it did yesterday. Yesterday it was quite uncertain and sketchy, right? What was the words we were using? It wasn't squirrely, it was dicey. Today looks marginally better, but we still got to get above here. But by the way, getting back above that trend line break, that sends us back into the green. That would be a very welcome technical break, right? And then all of a sudden, things could repair that quickly. If you saw Adam Back talking about yesterday, people were like, what do you think was going to be the next catalyst here for the next move up? And he was like, the supply ratio, the available supply. You know, hodlers keep on accumulating and they keep holding. And now you see big companies, you know, like MasterCard, Salamando saying, you heard yesterday Google, today it's Facebook, you know, and then, what was the other one? That Intel this week. I mean, these are big names. These are big players, right? Could the space be changing? Well, certainly the market dynamics are changing, you know, so we gotta make sure that we stay on top of it. That's all, Trish. We just gotta keep it real, and we are still under pressure. We're still in correction, and we got a lot of repairs to do. Nevertheless, we'll take them as it comes. Like we went yellow after that black diamond entry over here. That put us into uncertainty, right? And yeah, it got real uncertain as we come back and down, test those lows. But if we break out over here, we go green again, and that's good. Next week, we have the FOMC. I would say that's a pretty big deal. I think that next Wednesday, you know, 1 week from yesterday, is going to be a big deal in the markets, and that every single market participant is really going to be hanging on each word that comes out of Powell's mouth during that press conference. I would say that how the market reacts to that, that's going to be a pretty big deal, right? Are we going to get any type of clues, right? Expectations right now are uber hawkish, right? So what else? Adam Back was talking about, well, the next thing that's going to cause the move up is going to be, well, just the dynamics alone, the supply ratio. And then you have Sansa Mao saying, you know what? I think it's going to be those volcano bonds. I was like, all right, I'll raise my hand. I thought that as well. And then, you know, you have other people being like, you know what? It could be something simple like the Fed pivoting dovish, right? Salamando, big up on this one. Salamando is the first person I know and most consistent. But again, today's data is showing that, well, quote unquote, unexpectedly, you know, we're seeing that more Americans are getting back on the dole over here and things are not looking good, right? To Fed tightening into that slowing economy. I probably lost this. Oh no, I have it up over here on the restart. And you can see PMIs falling right now as the Fed begins to tighten. But guess what? So quite similar to 2018. 2018, Fed continued to hike. It was in December, that policy mistake, December 2019, which is right about here, that the Fed stopped hiking, right? Paul Tudor Jones called it out at that time. Paul Tudor Jones, by the way, 2 weeks ago also called out, you know what? Fed's going pretty hawkish here. All those trades that worked out prior right now might be under pressure. He hasn't mentioned anything regarding his Bitcoin trade or anything like that, but listen, pay attention to those who have a history of getting it right. So with this falling PMI, we've talked about, I'm watching PMIs going forward, what they mean. You know, do you think that a falling PMI, even if it's between February and March, is going to stop the Fed from hiking? I would have to say probably not if they've done it in the past, but we will see, right? Probably they are intent on hiking. Now, whether or not, like, and how soon they have to walk that back, we will see. But we do know at this point, hawkishness is priced into the market, and any pivot backwards would go ahead and send the markets for sure. Not just Bitcoin, but the markets in total. Jordan, you think the bounce today, good segue, Blue Magic, because now we're about to get into equities, is a fake out, right? Yeah, so I just think it's a little bit of a reprieve, right? Not reading much into the bounce that we're seeing today. By the way, 10-year negative this morning, and then like went positive. It's giving back those early gains right now. I'm just kind of get a feel for the market. Maybe if I pull up a chart, I could just show you here in real time really quick. Right? And, you know, there you go. That's a daily chart from yesterday off. Yeah, I mean, kind of hanging in there. This thing could obviously continue rising. Lynn Alden is saying, you know what? I think that might be getting a little bit overdone, and people probably are a little bit more hawkish than they should be right now. Yesterday we were saying, I wonder, not calling it, I wonder if this is like kind of like peak fear. Equity NASDAQ, that yesterday it tried to get above this line of repair. Let me just draw it in. Like yesterday, I was looking on the 2-hour and it peaked above it and then got rejected. It's over that line now this morning. I mean, that's like a first sign if you're optimistic and hopeful. But we could, in bear markets, you see massive like upticks. You see sharp moves to the upside that are then sold into in bear markets. So if we're and I wouldn't call this a sharp move to the upside yet, right? Like this over here, that's a sharp move to the upside, right? That's quick and sharp. And then guess what? Sold into. If we're in a bear market, we're looking at, look, I don't know if it's going to come or not, but if we see a sharp move that's sold again and we start making lower highs, it's really bearish, right? And, that might continue for some time. That might continue until the Fed relents. It might take the markets coming off 25%, 30% before the Fed relents. That seems to be the worst case scenario. What else is it? And by the way, we're in election year, so you have to wonder what's going on here and how removed is the Federal Reserve from political parties, that they're all of a sudden trying to fight inflation, push it down. And do they really care about the stock market? What are the majority of the voters? Do the majority of the voters actually hold stock? Or do the majority of the voters actually fill up their gas tank and buy food at the grocery store? What's more important for them right now? But rest assured, right? As soon as things break, they're gonna be there, or I think so. So let me just continue on the NASDAQ over here, right? So this red line over here, that would be a much more important repair than what we're seeing this morning. We like what's happening this morning. Markets bouncing instead of nosediving. After yesterday's session, if we would have seen further follow through, it could get scary really quick. So we like seeing the markets bouncing, but by no means do we think that we're even close to being out of the woods yet. S&P 500 also. I mean, let's come back down over. I was looking at it's gone now. I'm going to show you in 1 second what I just did minutes before coming online. And so S&P 500, again, breaking outside of this aggressive repair, but into that resistance. My channel resistance over there, we got to get above that before we start looking like we are repairing ourselves here. This was below the 100-day moving average yesterday. This for ever since, for COVID for the last year or two has been a wonderful buy signal from the S&P 500. Things are different now. What's different? Well, the Fed is gone from dovish to hawkish, talking about raising rates into a slowing economy. Whether or not they're going to be able to do it, we don't know yet, but they seem intent on doing it. So we're just going off that. I just added a line over here. I just want you to see this because it's just nothing more than fun or interesting. But I added this line and I was like, let me connect that low over here, right? And then I'm going to follow it up. And then, as close as I can. Sorry about that. As close as I can, right? And then I noticed that we hit that line again over here. We hit that line, or came close to that line, touched that line, and then after breaking down, came up and touched it as resistance. And then over here, it meant nothing else going forward, right? So then I was like, all right, well, that's enough touches to show something. So let me look on the upside. So I just did a couple of clones. And I was like, well, that doesn't really do anything, right? I was like, well, yeah, kind of, right? But not, and then kind of, but not really, a little bit. I could see it's there. Maybe that just needed to be readjusted a little. I'm not sure. But then what I did was I flipped it on the downside, right? So I was like, well, let me just check out the other side as well. And then I was like, boom. So I forgot who taught me this trick last week here in CTM. Grateful for it. It's come out very handy now, being able to go ahead and just invert the chart and clone the lines to get them on the downside. And then I was like, well, this line for sure, nothing, right? And then I was like, well, that line over there, it's interesting that we never closed on the daily below it, right? Tested below it. Like, yeah, I could see, and that's a big technical breakdown we continue to see over here right now. So I don't think it means much, but for sure I could see, that seems to be some type of play within the market. How about we just leave it at that? I want to look at the dollar this morning, unchanged on the day. It continues to be in no man's land. Didn't we just have a short entry against that channel on the S&P 500? Lego man, I know you're more intent on it than myself. So on which channel are you talking about? This one right here, the blue one, or are you talking about red? If you type in blue or red, I'll continue. And until then, let me just jump over the DXY, which is in no man's land. This is wrong. Sorry about that. This is wrong. This goes like this, right? We had the sell impulse over here, and then bouncing off the support, rejected the sell impulse, and we just put us back into no man's land. And then that's where we continue right now. Is the dollar waiting on the Fed? I don't know. So what else are we looking at here this morning? Just be aware, right? In case we do bounce over here. All right, let me just jump over to the candles a little bit. The touch of that trend line, once again, you can see it in there. And if we are and do get a correction, this area is going to become a big deal. I read Twitter. There's a lot of people, and right or wrong, there's a lot of people who will be unloading. Let's call it starting above 50,000, right? And into this big area of the danger zone. And most of those people, by the way, would be, from my opinion, and I believe this is correct, the blue, I'll come right back to that, Lego man. Most of those people are people that are newer buyers into the market, right? Now, especially anyone who bought above this area, above 55,000, and a lot of new participants enter that market. They seem, they will be quick to get out. A lot of traders, they like to get out at break even, right? So that means that they're either holding and this thing's going to go way against them, or if they get the opportunity to get, I think that's bullish for the market. I think that could show, we could have a little bit of a, let's say, if we're able to get up into that danger zone, a little bit of a rejection. That's why I will be watching for a technical breakdown wherever it is at that point. But as long as we hold that, we'll keep riding as far as possible. If we're able to pass through the danger zone and a lot of retail, smaller wallets unload into that, that could really be quite bullish for the dynamics going forward. It's just going to make those that are holding Bitcoin a lot stronger, those holding unrealized profit. So we will watch that, but nevertheless, we were also watching at that particular time what happens into that area, assuming we get the bounce into that area. That area will be showing a lot more of the normal dynamics of a bear market in Bitcoin. It is possible that we get rejected there, have a technical breakdown, and then go for a continued, let's say, pain in price and pain in time duration. Will that be dependent on what's going on with I think among other things. I mean, this is just presenting the bearish case for Bitcoin. It's also bullish. Getting above here is quite bullish. Get above the danger zone, and we're going to be roaring in the bliss once again at new all-time highs. But this is like, to be careful if this does occur, that we don't, and no one gets too bullish and FOMO and excited and starts like buying up into an area of cause of concern. Nothing more to say or do over there right now. So did we have a rejection? Yesterday we did. Lego man, sorry about those red lines over there. I know they're plentiful. You got to play and you got to explore, right? I don't think we need that. So we had Lego man. This is on the 2-hour time frame right now, and we had the breakdown, a perfect retest of it, and then a resumption down, right? And let's play this out, Lego man. I know that you're trading on more, I'm going to say almost intraday here, intraday to swing, right? And let's say that you were taking this trade, right? And you took an entry over here. As you resume down, making the new lower low, right? Your stop loss is back to break even and you're stopped out now, right? I'm assuming, right? You just pressed Alt to invert it even quicker. Thank you for that. Or are you holding over here for the stop loss, getting above that resistance? Those are two options. That's probably your initial stop loss. As you come in though and take out the support, right? At that point though, going back to CTM course basics, you'd be moving your stop loss to break even. And there was no follow through yet on that trade. I would be getting out at break even. Not that I think that the markets are bullish over here. Obviously, from today's presentation, you get the sense that I am cautiously optimistic and understand that we are continue to be with the sellers in control across all markets, not just Bitcoin, right? Across all markets. So 10-year treasury yield down Wednesday. Yeah. Long dated bonds yields making future profits more valuable. Tech companies counting. We also have earnings right now. We're beginning earnings seasons over here, and that could be good, right? That could be good. See some companies putting up some good earnings, and that could help people, let's say, relax a little bit. Narratives take shape and form very quickly. And right now, yesterday, when I was like, I feel like maybe, I don't know, that this could be like peak fear, all of a sudden, we'll see what happens. I don't know. And that's why I said the delivery of today's message might not be well received by everyone, but I'm not like bulls on parade, because we're not even close to that. We're far from that right now. I was listening to that a little bit, Andy. Those politicians really bored me, though. But I was listening to that a little before we got online. Dean, thank you, my brother. I think I missed some questions over there. I just want to check it out. I keep hearing big players are trading Bitcoin off the S&P signals. Silver was so what, Fabio? I'm not saying this is going to happen. I hope this happens. I hope that we enter a period here where, because of there are definitely different dynamics changing structurally within Bitcoin. It's noticed, right? You can notice it in the 1 year plus HODL wave. I've talked about it and showed it, and other indications. And if we see Bitcoin, as Adam Back is saying, the next catalyst is nothing going to be more than supply demand dynamics. And we see like the supply keeps getting help. Like, it's called HODL for a reason, right? People are not really apt to sell their Bitcoin. Could people look to sell equities if we're looking at stagflation, rising inflation, and we're not seeing wages go up anymore? At that point, equities do not perform well in that environment. And you might see them say, you know what? Bitcoin looks more attractive. That could be a game changer for Bitcoin. And we'll see. I remain quite bullish on Bitcoin. Now, we're trading what we see, and we know that like there's no momentum here that could change quickly. We're being rejected right now. We're bouncing off the test of resistance, but we knew that we didn't break above it. We knew we were just coming into it, and it's a nice move so far, right? Get above here though, and all of a sudden we're putting in some decent, real big technical repairs. There's not any difference between this technical repair and then this major, the red line I have over here when we broke 53,140. That was a big technical breakdown, right? This would be a big technical breakout to the upside. And we'll just wait and watch, right? But the markets right now, they have a lot overhanging their head. The momentum is definitely very, very, very bearish right now. They're like, are people looking to buy that dip? Equity markets included right now. I don't know. I don't know how much capital people have to buy those dips. I know that large family offices and or hedge funds have a ton of money sitting on the sidelines right now, but they might be taking that longer term view. They just might feel like, you know what? I don't feel that I'm missing out on too much upside. I understand like holding cash. That's bad, but at the same time, we might see some further deflationary shocks here under this hawkish Fed right now, and I might have the opportunity to buy back lower, and I'm just going to be patient right now. I don't feel like I'm in a rush, and I feel like that's where a lot of people are right now. I feel like they're just not in a rush, right? So, we wait, and that's part of it. We right now is just that neutral posture. We're in the uncertainty place on Bitcoin, right? And today was for the bulls, and I hope you're all bullish on Bitcoin long term. This is a nice reprieve over yesterday's price action, but a lot of work still needs to be done. And as we talk further, the more I talk, the more the 10-year continues to rise over here, right? And that's continuing right now. It's funny because the correlation used to be so tight, right? When Lynn Alden talks about that you were watching in the spring, the 10-year rising, right? Bitcoin was highly correlated to that move over here. But the Fed at this point was not talking about tightening, right? And then like the correlation continues and now it's breaking. 10-year rising hard, Bitcoin coming off. And what's different is that ever since October, right? And that's kind of where the correlation broke a little bit. It was October 16th on the Fed meeting minutes that we here at CTM said, you know what? They're tapering. They were just loud and clear. The market didn't believe it yet for a little while. You remember we were a couple of weeks early than everyone else, realizing it was coming. And with Bitcoin trading at that price, let's call it $65,000, I honestly thought there was a lot more in the tank. That never materialized, if I would have known, if I had a crystal ball, would I have sold spot over here to buy it back at 40,000? I mean, I don't know. If I had a crystal ball, I guess. But, I think we just did the smart thing that we, when we had the big technical breakdown, we had to say, all right, momentum's no longer with us. And now we just continue waiting and playing it as it unfolds before us. So, boom, 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 boom. I'm going to take 1 second to read some comments over here, and then we'll continue forward like that. And I'm just going to play. It's a good day for a good day.
Why does everybody in the world seem so divided? Why does everybody gotta hate each other? Who decided? If I took all the world's pride and all the world's money and wrapped it in a blanket and put it in a buggy, could you see that maybe that baby was just the same as you are? It's never been easy. Every day for everybody ain't breezy. And I hope you realize when you look into another person's eyes, today would be a very good day just to have a good day. Today would be a very good day just to have a good day. With a little more love and a little more laughter, a little more good vibes, less disaster. Today would be a very good day just to have a good day. All day long, all day long. Good days, please come more often. Everybody's in the streets out coughing. Smog in the air, gonna send you to your coffin. Plastic everywhere down there with the dolphins. Everybody was born to a mama, so everybody is connected.
All right, Salmando, I mean, I don't have the answers to these questions. Are earnings important right now? I think so. We want to see some good numbers put up to kind of like regain people's confidence. I think that things could get really bad because of this midterm election year. If you start seeing, and I mentioned it yesterday on a live stream, if you start seeing price controls being implemented in the United States, this is going to make inflation out of control, right? We see right now the supply chains are already so fragile, and now we're seeing, China with the Olympics locking things down, right? It's bad. These inflationary pressures are something that the Fed will not be able to control with rates or anything like that. So we're in a pretty precarious situation, but let's take it kind of like day by day. What I mean by that, let's see what Jerome forecasts to the market next week, right? Whether or not big businesses and business, like you're saying, luxury goods continue to fly as there's a lot of money out there, big ticket items. Those will probably do well right now. From Whole Foods, their sales are shocked. And then you look at other retailers and theirs are not. So, is there a disconnect between different portions of the economy? Look, right now is a very unique, let's say, moment in time. It is definitely not as much different than other cycles for many different reasons. And like I've said or been saying now, like, I don't know what happens next. We need to wait and watch and get a little bit more data in front of us before. You can't always have like the playbook and know with like a high degree of certainty what comes next. And right now, I think it really calls for that like open defensive posture. And sorry, there's not much I could say. Zach, Nick Carter's the man. I'd love to watch that, see what they're saying, or read the cliff notes on that for sure. I mean, not just in the equity markets too, right? And a lot of big players and big money, they love the equity markets. And at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, what's more attractive, right? We're gonna find out. I don't know. I don't know, so I can't tell you. I don't have the answers to those things right now. Let's see. 1 second. There was another thing that I wanted to ask. That was this one. Core reality. Yes, it does. In my book, a lot of people were talking about like they were talking about a Head and Shoulders that looked like this, right? And then, and if that was or wasn't, I don't know. But I see this, I do see that if this is a bounce over to here, that could definitely be setting up a bigger Head and Shoulders, and that could be the neckline extended over that way, and that could be setting up a big bear market, and we'll just trade what's on the chart and what's happening at the time if that occurs, regardless of this one over here, right? If that triggered, what are you looking at? Kind of, I think that they play out to the same place, somewhere around $20,000. A little less on this one, but you got to get past the big trend line, the one that we have highlighted over here. We bounced into it. A break below there, that would be bad news bears. That would be scary, and the bears would be very much in the control. For sure, the macro dynamics are set up where something like that could happen. And that's why we have to be just very, very careful. That's why we just don't like jump bullish right now, right? And just wait. And there we go. We're just trading what's in front of us. We're just yellow. We're cautious. We could go either way from yellow. We could go back into red, or we could go into green. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. Thanks, Jesse. And all of you, 1,000,000%. Everyone, it was mentioned in the very beginning. The very first comment, I think over there, was Craig, and he's like, great to be a part of this hive. That's for sure. So here we go, and we'll continue going. Today is today was the day I set the stage as soon as we got on. I'm like, well, some people might be looking for or expecting like just like a hyper like emotional. It's not where we're at right now. When we have those opportunities to enjoy the ride, it'll be when the ride's happening. This was nothing more than, or so far right now, nothing more than a test of resistance. And you can see how important these trend lines are, right? That hey, so far price is peeking out right into that resistance. Look, there's I had it better before I moved it during the live stream, but it was just the test of resistance, right? And that's why the trend lines, these magic trend lines, offer so much opportunity and edge, right? Yesterday, 90% likes. Woo! What are we at today? Perfect score. No, perfect score is gonna have to be when I over deliver. I'll earn that. That's for sure. But that's for sure. Thanks, Zach. Wonder why many going with point. I mean, I don't know. That's a great question. That's a really great question. I know like where I lie, and that's proof of work. Probably it was Nick Carter's name was mentioned earlier. Probably put out like Nick Carter and proof of work over proof of stake, and you probably get some really, 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 really good explanations. Digging in, and when it comes down to it, proof of stake is centralization as far as it could go, right? Very, very. I'm not about that at all. Now that's not to say that you can't have a centralized crypto project that is out there to do great things and have enormous market share. Of course it can. That's not solving the problem that Bitcoin is solving. I'm not comparing like centralization has its own purposes and could offer its own market opportunity. That has nothing to do with Bitcoin and proof of work. They're completely separate things. All right. It's an intense market right now. There's no question. It's a difficult market. And I just want to stress that like there's no question about that. There's a lot of uncertainty out there, right? Now, I feel like that I strongly feel like I know Salamando is very confident about it, and he's and rightfully so, talking about like the Fed really has no choice, and at the end of the day they're gonna have to revert back. I don't know the timing of it all. Like it's these people, it's hard to understand at all times what they're doing at why, and could they, with inflation running so hot, raise interest rates? Of course they can. Could they be doing that just to like make it look like they're regaining control? Yeah, they can. Could they take it further than we all expect? Yeah. I don't do I feel like if there's problems that they're going to step in? Yep. Do I feel like that there's a possibility that they'll have to even revert back dovish before the whatever happens in March? I do. I'm open to that possibility. Like I'm very open to that possibility. Although it seems like they're pretty strong about the direction that they are moving, and I feel like even out of being stubborn, they're gonna do it. And then what happens after there? I don't know. I mean, well, anyway, it's clear I don't know. And I'm watching and I'm trying to wait for that clarity, but I'm not pretending to have the answers when I don't. That's for sure. I'm not pretending by any means. I prefer to have that posture of being a student of the market, making sure that I'm taking in all sides and being able to process that and put that together. I feel that right now is being on the right side of the market rather than having one type of conviction either which way. I think that could get us in trouble. So, with that all being said, was that today, by the way, Francisco? I heard they were meeting together, right? That would be huge, by the way, if Turkey were to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender or anything like that. That would be just enormous. I don't have the inside scoop. We know that they were meeting, but he's also he's out there networking and meeting a bunch of world leaders on this trip right now. It doesn't necessarily have to do with Bitcoin. By the way, big news that was not mentioned. Russia again has banned Bitcoin, right? That's all correct. There was a few different people putting out some really good information on that today. But I'm sure you're all aware of that, but I just want to mention it. I do believe, I could be wrong, Zach. I think Nick Carter was like, the gameplay would then suggest that the U.S. would move towards adopting Bitcoin. We'll see how it all plays out. That's for sure. We'll see how it all plays out. And there was also an interesting discussion. I think it's a good video that I recommend to everyone out on Preston Fish's podcast with Luke Roman. And Luke was talking about the problems, the issues with water in China, and how most likely that was the reason that Bitcoin was banned in China rather than it being because of the digital yuan being released. I don't know, but again, the more information you have, then the more you're able to go ahead and form your own opinions. Yep, I'm with you both. I'm with you both on that. I'm with you both on that. All right, you're both right. All right, everyone. Boom, 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 boom. I think that's it for today. There's nothing else. We nailed the theme of today. Do not get too excited. Bears are still very much in control. We got a lot of repairs to do, and we want to see what happens next. That's why we're going to do it again tomorrow. All right. All right, everyone. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for spending your time with me here this morning. And I hope you all have just a good day. All right. Today's a good day for a good day. And I really hope that you all able to be just in the moment today, taking it all in, grateful for the gift, and then together, stronger, we move on, right? By the way, what happens if, I want to go with this thought 1 second. 2020, terrible for everyone, right? When, seems like that light at the end, light in the tunnel is getting closer and closer. We've seen the UK have lifted all restrictions and passports, and you don't need anything to go to the pub anymore and things like that. And that's good. We'll take the wins where we get them. Most likely what's happening here, though, is that they just get they just back off, and they're just waiting for that next opportunity to come in and pounce on us, right? And what's going to happen when they do, or if they do come against Bitcoin and freedom? A lot of people out there forget weak hands, or are weak in constitution and minded. You see how ugly Twitter could get over a simple discussion. I think that we need to just keep in mind that there's a lot going on over here. And when we talk about making sure that we are not only building generational wealth, thinking of the futures, that we are doing everything we can within our power to fortify ourselves, whether that's individually, through our families, through our communities, here as a group together, so that we are going to be able to, no matter what comes at us, being able to not only survive, but thrive. And I think it's just important to mention planting those seeds, as in the future, we do whatever is necessary to make sure that we stay as focused and as sharp as possible. So, with that being said,
Karma. So disconnect yourself from the drama. Everybody's trying to heal like trauma. It's never been easy. Every day for everybody ain't breezy. And I hope you realize when you look into another person's eyes, today would be a very good day just to have a good day. Today would be a very good day just to have a good day. With a little more love and a little more laughter, a little more good vibes, less disaster. Today would be a very good day just to have a good day. And I say, hey, hey, put all of my troubles to the side. And I say, hey, hey, thank God that we're alive. And I say, hey, hey, put all of my troubles to the side. And I say, hey, hey, thank God that we're alive. Today would be a very good day just to have a good day. Today would be a very good day just to have a good day. With a little more love and a little more laughter, a little more good vibes, less disaster. Today would be a very good day just to have a good day. All day, hey, hey, all day long, hey, hey, all day long, hey, hey, all day long, hey, hey. Today would be a very good day. For a good day, for a good day, that, for a good day. Yeah, we need one for a good day. We got this for a good day.
all right, my friends. All right, my fam. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. We'll be back at it tomorrow. We'll do it again. All right, everyone. May God bless you. Have a good one.